explain the steps and processes involved. So really think, we're going to be using our algebra to explain what's going on here. That is one thing we really want you to focus on when we get into doing the example today, because we're going to do task 1 together. Really watch how I'm showing all my working, so that when you do your tasks 2 to 5, that you're doing the same sort of explanation, okay? Don't just write down random numbers and random stuff. We need to be explaining all of our steps as we go and using lots of really good algebra. Okay, so we've got some we've got a couple of videos and one example to go through first. But just before I do that, I'll just stop the share. Okay, so I've just got a few little questions here. Jack, I've just seen your first question. That's totally fine. I really understand that. That's all right. Millie, I saw your thing about Stella. That's great that she's working through it. And Jack just asked what the tasks are. So we'll go through the tasks in a second. It's not really important at the moment which specific ones are which, but mainly that we get our head wrapped around the idea of this aim. We're aiming to understand number magic. So how do these number tricks work? And to use our algebra to explain them. So that's what we're going to be doing in these 5 tasks. So for tasks 1 to 5, we'll be understanding number tricks, and then also then using our algebra to explain what's going on. So that's the tasks. Okay, let's just, is everyone going all right? Does this make sense? Is this cool so far?
Yep.
Maybe some high fives or some thumbs ups or some waving at me if you're feeling good. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're sort of on track. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to share, hopefully I can get this video to share. Share computer sound. Let's try this. Can anyone let me know really quickly if you can't hear the sound when this video starts to play? Can you see this video now on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if the sound works.
So we're going to do a little.
Yeah, I can hear.
Working? Okay, let's do it.
You're like echoing something.
Yeah, you're echoing.
Just because you've turned the audio anti-feedback thingy off when you do the audio.
Have I? Where do I do that?
I don't know, just when it stops doing filtering.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's basically sort of what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be doing those sorts of number tricks, and they seem like magic when you're doing them. When you actually go through and look at the maths involved, it's all very step by step, and there's processes going on. Okay, so that's what we're going to be showing. We're going to be showing that there's processes going on within the tricks we're doing. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Okay, here we go. We're just going to do the first one because there's 3. If you have a look when you get your task sheet, there are actually quite a few links that you can go to. So this is one of the links, and this has 3 tricks on it. We can just go through one. We don't need to do all of them at the moment. So one will be enough for us. So let's have a look at this. Here we go. The trick will even impress your maths teacher. Think of a number. Can everyone think of a number? Their own number? So I'm thinking of a number. Am I still echoing?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what to do. Am I better now? Is that better now?
Yeah, miss.
Cool. I know what I'm doing. So I've switched between share computer sound and not, because you need the share computer sound to see the videos, but you don't want share computer sound when I'm talking, because then you're picking up 2 mics at once. So feedback. So thank you. Thanks for letting me know. That's good. Here we go. Okay, where was I? Here we go. So everyone think of a number. I'm thinking of a number. Okay, think of a number. Double it. Okay, has everyone doubled their number? Add 10. Okay, halve it. Okay, yep, halve it. Take away your original number. Is your answer 5?
No.
No, why not?
Yes, mine is.
Mine is.
My original number was 5.
Ah, so okay, let's start. If Ella, you started with 5, you doubled it and got 10, you added 10 and got 20, you halved it and got 10, and you took away your original number, which was 5, and you ended up with 5. So that works. My original number was 12. So I started with 12, I doubled it, got 24, added 10, I got 34, halved it, got 17, took away my original number, which was 12. 17 minus 12 is 5. Now, can everyone see what's happening there? Does anyone understand what's going on?
Yes.
Anyone want to have a go at explaining it? Who wants to have a go at explaining it?
What you've done at the start is you've
It would
just
be
doubled
like
it.
in algebraic, it would be like x times by 2 plus 10 divided into 2 minus x equals x.
Yeah, and it's because you're, we'll come across the explanation because it's got it written down quite neatly here. So, but yeah, basically what you guys have just said is right. So first of all, we need to make one change to the whole problem to make this ridiculously easy. So if you change the order of this around, it becomes really obvious what's happening. First, we notice if you have double it and halve it. So if you double something and then halve it, it brings it back to where you were. But as you have added 10 in the middle of doubling and halving, that's why when you take away your original number, you end up with 5, because 5 is half of 10. Now, this is what Julian was saying here, if we wrote it in algebraic terms. So we think of a number, so x, we double it, so we get 2x. We add 10 on, so that's 2x plus 10. And then now we halve it. So 2x plus 10, divide that by 2. 2x divided by 2 is x, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then when we take away the original number, so x plus 5 minus x, we get left with 5. Does that make sense? Yeah, does that make sense, everyone?
Little bit.
Yes, me.
Little bit? Cool. Yeah, I think if
Have you seen Mr. Mooney's card trick? He showed me it in year 7.
no, what was it, Ben?
So pretty much what he did is he told us to pick any card. So me and my mates, we picked a card, and so he laid down. So he like made the deck, not like the whole entire deck, but he laid down some cards, right?
Yeah.
And there were 3 rows, and he asked us, which row was our card in?
Yeah.
And we pointed. And then what he did is he put them like in columns now. And then he told us which row is our card in. And he slowly narrowed it down until we finally picked our card.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. And once again, there's just an algorithm going on in the background that when you're being the participant in the trick, you can't see the algorithm. But when you're the one who's doing the trick, you know there's a pattern going on. So that's what we're doing. We're just trying to figure out what the pattern is. Now we have one more video, but I don't think we'll watch it now. We can watch that later on. Actually, yeah, this is a really nice one. Actually, maybe we should watch this one because this is very much what we're going into now. So I'm going to share my screen sound. I'm going to hold my mic still and we're going to watch this one, okay? Let me know if you can hear the sound in a second.
Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you an easy math trick that you can use to read anyone's mind. You can use this trick to impress people really easily. Let's get right to it. This is the process. You're going to ask them to pick a number between 1 and 10 and make sure that they pick a whole number. You don't want them choosing any number that has a decimal or a fraction or anything like that. You just want them to pick a number between 1 and 10, okay? Then you're going to ask them to multiply that number by 2. You're going to ask them to multiply the number by 2. Next, you're going to tell them to take that answer and multiply it by 5. So they will take the answer and multiply it by 5. For the next part, you're going to tell them to take that answer and divide it by the original number. So divide that by the original number, and then you're going to finally ask them to take that answer and subtract 7. Okay, so that's the whole process. Now, when you're done, when they have finished this, you're going to tell them that you're going to guess the answer after all of this, and you're going to guess the number 3. And if they did this correctly, then they will always end up at 3. So all that you have to do is say, I'm going to guess the number that you're at. You're going to, do some hand motions to make it convincing, and then you're going to guess the number 3. Now let's just go over a few examples. So let's just say that they have picked the number 5. Okay, so they've picked 5 as their first number. When they multiply it by 2, it's going to bring them to 10. When they multiply that number by 5, it's going to bring them to 50. When they divide by the original number, which was 5, it's going to bring them to 10. When they subtract 7, it's going to bring them to 3. And when you guess 3, you will blow their mind. Now, here's another example. Let's say that they chose the number 7. Okay? If they take 7 and they multiply it by 2, they're going to get 14. If they take 14 and multiply it by 5, they're going to get 70. Then if they divide by the original number, which was 7, they are going to get 10. And then if they subtract 7, they're going to get 3. And when you guess the answer as being 3, once again, you will blow their mind. And they can choose any number, any whole number between 1 and 10, and this will work. So it's literally that simple. You can convince anyone that you are reading their mind if you use this very simple math trick. I've told you how to do it using this little order over here, okay? And then I've also provided you with 2 examples. And that's all I have for you today.
Okay, that one's a pretty straightforward one. Does everyone make sense of that one? Yeah. Can you see why the pattern happens?
Yeah, miss.
Yeah. Now this one isn't as sort of versatile because you can only pick numbers between 1 and 10, and you're working on the fact that, see here, when you multiply by 2 and multiplying by 5, that's the same as multiplying by 10. So, and then when so you're going to have a number that's like 70 or 60 or 80, any of those, number 0 numbers. And then when you divide it by the original number, it will always take you back to 10. Okay, and then when you subtract the 7, that's how you always know it's going to be 3. So that one's a little bit of an easy one. Okay, so is everyone ready for us to do some examples together? So we're going to do task 1 together. Okay, and we're going to do it with full working and full steps, and I'm going to save it for you so that you can what was I saying? So that you can look back on it when you need to. Okay, so what I want you to do is, first of all, with all of these questions, I want you to work them out in your book to start with. So do full working in your book, do all your thinking, make it look really, so do a couple of drafts, just handwriting them in your book, making sure you've got everything there written up really well. And then once you've got everything written up really well, that's when you print off, sorry, I'm just checking something. Yeah, that's when you print off your Word document or save your Word document, and then only when you've got your full answers ready to go do you write it in. Does that make sense? Just like normal. So we do it as a...
Writing this down now, or do you just want us to listen now?
I would like you to write it down with me as we go, because things process better as you take notes and you hear me. So it's like the joint brain, like working together thing.
So just in our book?
Yeah, just in your book. So maybe at the top of the page, go math investigation. So you can find it and do all your math investigation on a couple of pages. Okay. So everyone do that now.
Can we just do it in a notebook, or do we actually need a paper photo?
You can do it on a piece of paper.
Oh, okay.
Or a notebook, or, maybe you want to have a pad of paper that's just for your investigation. You work on that. But I don't want you writing it down on the Word document straight away. I'd prefer you to write it out and think about it as we do it. Okay, so everyone get that ready to go while I share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So let's get started. Here we go. This is the first example. So this example here says, Verdi, hey, how you going? I've gone through a few things. I've been recording it, so I'll put it on YouTube after the lesson, okay? But I'm just going to keep going now. Okay, so here's the trick. The trick says take a number, double it, add 9, subtract 3, divide by 2, subtract your original number, your answer should be 3. So this is the algebra that works alongside it, okay? Take a number. So basically in algebra, we would say let that number be x. Then we double it. So doubling means 2x, okay? Okay, you're all good, dirty then. Okay, so we've got 2x. Now we plus 9. So we've got 2x plus 9. Okay, so that's, you know, that's just working through the wordy steps as we've got. Now we subtract 6. So we do 2x plus 9 minus 3 equals 2x plus 6. I think I said that wrong. Sorry. We subtract 3. Now we divide by 2. So we go 2x plus 6 divided by 2, which leaves us with x plus 3. We subtract our original number, which is x. So we go x plus 3 minus x, and you get left with 3. So this is how these tricks are going to work. Okay. Now I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to get to the task. Here we go. This is the first task. So magic trick 1. First step, we think of a number. So that's step number 1.
Are we supposed to write that down up above?
No, that's all right, because that's actually on the task. So don't worry about that. I can scroll back up to it if you will, writing it down. We'll get stuck into this one here. Magic trick number 1. So this is task 1. Okay. So this is the one I'm going to do with you. So the first step, think of a number. Then we double it. Can everyone do this? I'm going to think of a number now. Think of a number, double it. Has everyone done that in their heads? Okay, I have. Okay, add the original number. That's the third step. Divide by 3. That's the fourth step. Okay. Now your answer should be the number that you started with. Whoa. Okay, so let's follow the steps one at a time. Okay. Task 1A, note down an example of the mental answers for each step. Use a flow diagram to link each step. So can I use my example, the one I thought of? This is what Ms. Morrison thought of. Okay, so I did number 1. Think of a number. I thought of the number 11. Okay, then step 2, I doubled it. So from 11, I got 22. Now, the third step, I added on the original number. So from 22, I add on 11. So hang on a second, double it. Add on 11, I get 33. Now the fourth step is divide by 3. Divide by 3, you end up back at 11. Okay, and you're like, whoa, that's so freaky, maths. Does that make sense? So this is an example of the steps you would do. So you times by 2, add 11, divide by 3. That's like the flow diagram there. Okay. I'm just going to zip up to the top of the page. So I'll pull back down later on so you can fill this in if you've missed stuff. But here we go. So how does it work? Generalize the step-by-step calculation by using a variable and algebraic steps. So who can suggest what I have to do to start with? What does, yeah?
Let the number equal x.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful first step, Julian. So we take a number, that's the instruction. And I'm going to say, let the number equal x. Okay. Or you could say, let x equal the number. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Second step. The second instruction says to double it. So can anyone give me the algebraic step that we get to with that one?
X times by 2 or 2x.
Beautiful, 2x. So we've got, we start with x, now we doubled it, and that leaves us with 2x. Okay. Now, the next bit is we add on the original. Can someone tell me how am I going to do that with algebra?
2x plus x.
Beautiful, girls. 2x plus x. And what does that equal? What's 2x plus x equal?
3.
Yeah, 3x. Okay. So I've gone from the number x, now I've doubled it to equal 2x. I've added on another x, which equaled 3x. And then the last step is to divide by 3. So who can tell me the algebraic step there?
3x divided by 3.
Beautiful. 3x divided by 3 equals x. So therefore the solution equals x. So it's always going to come back to your original number. Can you see how using the algebra can actually break down and show you how to do this step at a time, and also show you where the trick happens? Can anyone spot where the trick happens in this one? It's easier to see it in the algebra.
Multiplying by 3 and then you're just dividing by 3.
Yeah, because multiplying by 2 and adding on the same number is the same as multiplying by 3. So when you've got this here, when you've got the 2x plus x, because that equals 3x, that's the same as multiplying by 3. That's when you divide by 3, it all cancels back down. So that's the neat trick here, okay? And that's the thing you don't often spot or notice when someone's doing this in front of you and you don't know what the trick is. But it's really obvious when you write it down like this. Okay. Now the third bit of the task. Are you sure it works? Show that your algebra works by working through another example, substituting for the variable. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we've got our steps. Okay, and we've got so here we go, we've got x, 2x, 3x, 3x over 3 equals x, okay? And I'm even going to put my steps on, times by 2, add on x, divide by 3, and you get your original, okay? So, who wants to suggest the number we should use for our example? What should we substitute in?
20.
Beautiful. Let x equal 20. Okay, let's follow our steps down. So 2x, therefore we say 2x equals, what's 2x going to equal?
40.
40, beautiful. Now, the next step down is we add on x. So we go 2x plus x. So we've got 40 plus 20. What does that equal?
60.
Beautiful, which equals 3x. Now, the last step is 3x divided by 3. So we say 60 divided by 3. And what's 60 divided by 3?
20.
20, which is x. Woohoo! Cool. And that's all it is. How nice is that? Okay. So that's task 1. Done.
Miss Morrison, do we
Yes,
have to
Gus?
do your example for 1A?
Yes. Oh, yeah. If you want to pick your own example, that's all right. That's
Okay.
fine.
So we could just write that down and it'd be good.
Your task 1. Done.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, but let's just have a look at this. Can you spot where sometimes people might not have all the working written down? What might people skip out? Can anyone spot what the sort of things might people skip and then it doesn't show all of the working? Maybe they might skip these steps down the side. Okay. People might skip these instructional steps in the middle here. People might just skip out the algebra on this last example and just do the numbers. And can you see why that's not showing your full process, your full justification?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Nella?
Martin,
Yes.
how much of our grades is this assignment?
I can't, it's off the top of my head, I can't remember. But let's just say you guys are back in week 6. Okay, let's just say.
Yeah.
If you're back in week 6, we will plan to have a test, I don't know, week 9, some point in week 9 probably. And it'll be on the stuff we're doing at the moment and then the stuff we're doing afterwards. So I would think that we'd be planning for a test in week 9. So therefore, your end of semester grade would be your test from last term, this assignment, and the test from the end of the term. Okay, so it'll be a blend of each. And you never know, we might decide to use some of the Cambridge timed quizzes as well as little pieces of information as well. Obviously the Cambridge quizzes are only tiny amount of time, so not worth as much. But this is a big chunk, so probably a third, thereabouts. And that's assuming we're all back together.
Does it? I didn't do the exam last term. Does that make much difference?
No, Ella. If you missed that test, we just look at it and figure it out. It's all good.
Okay.
Don't worry. And we also know that end of last term was very weird. So people were sick, people are away, people were isolating already. So we totally understand there was all sorts of stuff going on. So yeah, we will figure that out when we get there, when we're a bit closer and we know what's going on. Okay. So task 1, how good was that? Was that all right? Can everyone see the steps we want you to show and all that process? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Now let's just have a look. Task 2 is another magic trick that you were given. So it's exactly the same as task 1. Okay, exactly the same as task 1. And look, it's even the same questions. Write down example, write down the algebra, show that it works. Then, magic trick number 3. There's a different, you know what I might do? I might even get that image and do that image a little bit clearer because I don't think that's very clear. Verdi, yes, I'll go back and remind you all where to get this in a second, okay? Magic trick number 3, I'm going to get that image and I'm going to put that clearer on the Pulse page for you because I don't think that's very clear. But once again, there's a process that you do. You work through the process. So basically, write down the mental steps, write down the algebra, show an example. Question 4, it's another trick. So you've told to take a day of the number of the birthday. There we go. Do some steps to it, get an answer. So once again, write down the mental steps, show the algebra, show an example. Yes, Ella?
Is this just the worksheet on the other like on the thing that you showed us where it is?
I will go back and I'll show you exactly where it is so we all know where to find it.
Okay, so we can just do this in our spare time.
Yeah, so let me just go through the last little trick here is a create your own. So this is going to be the hardest one, okay? So when you create your own, you're basically making up the trick. And in making up the trick, you still need to show the same 3 pieces of working. What's the mental step? So what is an example? What's the algebra? And then show that your algebra works. So you're still using all the same processes that we've practiced in the earlier ones. But task 5, creating that on your own, is obviously going to be the harder one. Okay, I'll just come back to Chrome and I'll show you. Here we go. So this is on our Unit 2 page. So on our Unit 2 page, if you scroll down, you can click on 2 things. First of all, there's the Year 8 Magic Algebra Investigation. That will take you to the document that I've just been working on. See that? Look at that. But see, it's blank for task 1, so you can now fill that in for task 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. If you want that as a Word document, it's just below. So see where it says Investigation and Magic Algebra, and it'll actually be collapsed to start with. So you have to just press the arrow and you can press on that Word document there and you'll download it and you can have it as a Word document. So it doesn't really matter. You do what's best for you, either PDF just on the screen or Word document on your computer. Okay. Bertie, it's due Monday week 6, so a week and a half. Now we have, I'll just go back. I'm just going to go back to our class page with our step-by-step. Here we go. We have 2 more lessons to work on this. So do you think you're probably going to be able to get through tasks 2, 3, and 4 at least in the next 2 lessons, if not task 5 as well? Okay, so to be honest, if you use your class time really, really well, I think you should probably have this finished in class by Friday, at the end of lesson on Friday. But there's still a bit of leeway and flexibility with time. So if you haven't got it finished, you can do a bit of weekend work, or you can do a bit of work next week as well, because it's not due until Monday week 6. Okay, does that make sense? I'm just going to stop sharing. Does everyone know where to find this? I want to see some thumbs up.
Yep.
Beautiful. Does everyone know what we're doing in class for the next 2 days?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Wait, so are those 5 questions it? Is that the assignment?
That's the assignment. That's all it is. Okay. So in class, in the next 2 days, we will just working on this assignment. Okay. You can email me questions as well. There is a chance I might not be in class on Friday. Maybe the year 11s have a test and I might need to be with them for their test. But, you know, you can email me if you've got problems. You can still work on the task and you can just email me questions. So either way, I'll be available. Okay. Now let's just go back once more before the lesson finishes. Let's just go back once more and see what our plan is tonight. So you don't need to work on the assignment tonight. We've got class time for that. If you want to, go for it, but you don't have to. So Wednesday evening, can you please either do some math space or some mastery skills? So tomorrow, when I check math space, I want to see everyone has started math space. There are a few people who have not started at all. There are a few people about halfway through, and there are a few people who have finished. So by tomorrow, when I check MathSpace, I want everyone to have started and spent at least 20 minutes on it tonight. If you don't want, if you're not working on MathSpace tonight because you've finished, you can do some mastery skills. So mastery skills, the PDF is there. Open it up and just write, do it in your book again and get ready to take the photo. Thursday, we'll do assignment. Thursday night, MathSpace or mastery skills. Friday lesson, assignment. Does that make sense for everyone? Is everyone cool?
Yep.
Okay, a little bit of MathSpace tonight, a little bit of practice, a little bit of assignment tomorrow, a little bit of MathSpace. Okay, so we're just sort of jumping back between the two different things, okay? Okie dokie, I want to let you go, but before we do, I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to say to you. Task 3, I will have task 3. You know that image that was a bit blurry? I'll go and find that pretty image of that and I'll put that up on Pulse for you as well. Okay? Yes, Nula?
Sorry.
That's right. Okay, we're about to head off. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Sorry, Mr. Milmetzner. Okay, email me if you have questions. Email me if you have problems. Email me if you just want to chat, okay? Have a wonderful evening. Do some maths, just a tiny bit, 15 to 20 minutes, okay? And I will see you all tomorrow for our Zoom. So jump on Zoom tomorrow and we'll catch up, okay?
See you, Miss. Thank you.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Bye.